Once again, Keiarna is declassing the show, and another one of Staceys' lies blows up in her face once again. Let's break it all down in today's recap.
But I'll be on it always, always and ever.
Hey queens, welcome back to my queen cave. My name is Shelby, queen of the queen cave, and in here I drop recaps and reviews of my favorite TV shows and movies, commentary on any topics I find interesting, and deep dives into Black history, Black culture, and icons that helped shape that culture. If that is your vibe, hit the subscribe, you already know the deal. Today we are recapping The Real Housewives of Potomac season 10 episode 7, Guess Who's Back? So we start off with Tia. We get a quick scene with her and her family. She's on the phone with her mom, and we get a reminder that her mom and her family are of Nigerian royalty. Yeah. Tia's mom is telling her she has a surprise for her, and Tia's trying to figure out what the surprise is. And next to her is her younger daughter, and she's asking her like, oh, what about me? Where's my surprise? And Tia goes, it's not your mom. She's not talking about you. It's not for you. It's for me. And her daughter looks at her hella sideways, gives her a dirty ass look. And then she talks to her grandma, and she tells her that Tia talks bad about her all the time. I was like, wow, the disrespect in the household is so real. And we get more of that later on in the episode. And the next scene we get to Monique. She's finally joined the cast. It's about time. And we get a little update on her. She's still beautiful, glowing, gorgeous, that girl. And she lets us know that she's just in a great place of peace after her and Chris divorced. So she's happy with that outcome, which is really surprising to me because I felt like on camera, I guess, they really made it seem like they were in a good place. They had a good marriage. And they were solid. So I was really caught off guard to see that her and Chris got divorced, but it's good to see that she's in a good place and she's happy. We get an update that T'Challa died, and now she has a new bird named something with an S. What is it? Sekhmet? Something like that. Something like that. They quickly recap the Candace and Monique assault of it all, and Ashley keeps saying that she feels like Monique just made a mistake. This should not define her as a person. And Monique also continues the same thing that she was saying before, talking about how her childhood trauma had something to do with her reaction and why she reacted that way. And I just feel like that is completely bullshit. If we're gonna be real, you could not try to use that as your scapegoat to pass off the blame to you simply not being able to control your emotions. Like, that's what it is. You were not able to control your emotions because you allowed Candace to get the best of you when, if we're gonna be real, Candace just says a lot of little snarky things off to the side. I don't feel like it ever should have resulted in you getting physical. Like, I guess we would say Candace was taunting her a little bit. Sure, we will say that just to go ahead and be fair. But also that does not give her the right to now put her hands on somebody else. So I just feel like if she would have just handled that situation in a much different way, obviously, she probably would have still been on the show and she would have still been in the loop with the cast. But I thought it was really crazy how she was like, if I'm fired, I'm just gonna go ahead and finish her off. I was like, oh my gosh, Monique thinks we're in the streets. But I think it is cool to have her back, and I really am interested to see how she's going to fare out with these group of ladies going on forward. Ashley tells her she opened up a business with Giselle called G&A, which we know was a flop. They do briefly bring up Karen DUI case, and Monique said that she talked to Karen briefly before she went to jail, and she said that she had a feeling that Karen was going to get prison time based off of her DUI record. So it is also going to be interesting to see Karen come back. I think we did see a sneak peek, or I think I saw on YouTube like a sneak peek of an episode in this season that Karen's gonna appear on. Was I tripping? We'll have to see on that. And Ashley now brings up Stacey because she's going down the list of all the girls to see like if she knows them or not. She gets down to Stacey and she basically calls Stacey a lying liar who lies. And then in her confessional, she goes, I didn't want to tell Monique about the whole Stacey and Chris thing because I didn't want to create a rift between them before Monique got a chance to meet Stacey. So I just want Stacey to have the opportunity to tell Monique herself. And I'm thinking, you're already giving Monique a certain impression of Stacey by calling her a lying liar who lies. So this whole, I don't want to cause a rift and give her, preconceived notions that Stacey is someone to kind of give a side eye to. You just did by saying that some of her stuff that she says doesn't match up to the stuff that she says later. So I'm just kind of like, Make it make sense, Ashley, because you are all over the place, just like Stacey is, but I digress. Next, she finally invites her to her Pride Float event that she has going on, and she does warn her that Giselle will be on scene. And Monique says that she's not really trying to live in the past anymore. She's trying to move on, and she's cool to be around Giselle. If things need to be addressed from the past, she's cool to do so, but overall, she does not have a problem. So now we get over to Wendy's house, and they're doing a full renovation in what seems every room of the house, and they're still living in the house, and I'm thinking, is this not a safety hazard for the kids? Hello? Why do you guys have all these stilts, all this shit, all this construction going on, and the kids are still around? Is that not a safety concern? Is that not like a possibility something bad could happen because you have all this equipment just open? I'm confused. Eddie then asks Wendy an update on how the Neva's trip went, and Wendy tells him that the girls celebrated her birthday, she had a good time, but her dad actually never reached out to her and told her happy birthday. She does give us a rundown on her history with her dad, and she says that her parents divorced because of religious differences, and since then her mom got remarried and she had a stepdad. She said her stepdad was the one that took that place for her father because her father was not around. He just wasn't around in her life after they got divorced, and they moved from Nigeria to America. He actually is still in Nigeria, and she said she has not seen him in person for the last 20 years, which is really a question to ask, like, why? Like, can we get some more detail as to why that is, Wendy? Like, could we get some more in depth? Because I just feel like this is one of the only times we've really heard Wendy give us more in-depth backstory on who she is and who she comes from and her family, X, Y, and Z. So I was really interested to hear some information about Wendy's dad, and I really do hope we can get some more details going forward on that dynamic. But she does say when it comes to her stepfather, how great he stepped up in that role, how he was always there for her, and how close they were, and how devastating it was for her to lose him a few years ago. We then cut over quickly to Stacey and her ripoff Happy Eddie brand, and we get the information. Get this. We get notified that Stacey's idea of the weed line, production, and launch happened all within 95 days. And you're gonna sit over there and tell me this was a passion project. Stacey really felt so deeply about wanting to start a cannabis brand because of whatever belief she has about wanting to be happy and serene and peaceful. Bullshit, girl. This is coming across as if you saw how successful Happy Eddie was and you wanted to jump on the bandwagon. Let's just be so fucking real. You were not thinking about opening a weed cannabis line for shit before you saw Wendy doing it, and then you saw how it took off. Now all of a sudden, sorry. Now all of a sudden, you want to come out with a weed line. And then on top of that, get this part two, she names her weed line a Nigerian name, and it was Shayo, and she said it means what, peace or happiness, something like that. So it's like, so not only do you have a cannabis line, you are naming it after a Nigerian word, and that's going to completely coincide with Wendy and her Nigerian, like hello, that's her whole thing. And I'm not saying no one else can be Nigerian. Of course, Tia's on the cast, no problem. I'm just saying, it's really looking like you did a copy and paste in your own watered down way, because you're not even selling a flower, you're selling fucking gummies. So it's like you trying to pass this off as if you are not trying to be in competition with Wendy and you did not do this because of her X, Y, and Z is coming across like some bullshit, because you couldn't name it anything else. You couldn't give it any other differentiation to make it seem like you have no type of connection with Wendy, or you didn't have any type of inspiration coming from Wendy. Because if you did have inspiration, that's fine. Just fucking say that shit. That's the whole point. If that is the case, there's nothing wrong with that. Just fucking say that. You're over here lying and, oh no, I'm not doing a line. We get a flashback after a reunion last year of Giselle asking Stacey verbatim, are you coming out with a line? I heard that you were coming out with a line. Is that true? She told her in her face and in Wendy's face, no, that's not true. I'm not coming out with one. And Giselle's like, so Wendy, if she does come out with one, you know that we already know here. We tried to ask her. She said no. So you know she's a lying liar who lies. So now that lie It's coming full fucking circle, Wendy. Stacey, because we're coming out and seeing that you are coming out with the line that you just fucking rushed together as quickly as possible. Here it is. Here's my final product. Girl, please cut the bullshit. Next. And then we get back to Wendy and Eddie in their garage, and we see that Eddie is expanding his Happy Eddie line. He has some lighters, some aloe vera infused lip balm, looks pretty cool. And they talk about Stacey and her cannabis line, and they joke around, talk about we need to have a strain dedicated to Stacey coming into the cannabis industry, and we're going to call it Copycat. Seems pretty fitting to me. And lastly, back to Stacey real quick. She is going through her photo shoot. She then gets on the phone with Ashley. They both confirm they're going to Jassie's wedding, good to go. And then Stacey tells Ashley about her cannabis line. And Ashley's face is cracked. She's looking at her like, huh? And because Ashley is not saying anything, she's just looking at her crazy. Stacey thinks that the FaceTime is freezing, and she's like, oh girl, you're frozen. Are you there? Did you hear me? And in her confessional, she continues on to say how annoyed she is that Stacey blatantly lied about this whole thing when they already called her out about it last year at the end of the season. So it's like, girl, whatever you want to keep saying. And she says this over and over again. This has nothing to do with Wendy. I was not trying to compete with her, copy her, none of that. And it's like, regardless of how many times you say it, Stacey, we know that it's bullshit. You saw the success of Happy Eddie and you wanted a piece of it. Just say that. We already know it's true. You want to continue on with this front, makes you look even more crazy. Oh my gosh, this one gets good. So now we get over to Angel and her sister. They're going out for snow cones and they start catching up. And the first thing that Angel tells her sister about being in the group is when Giselle brought up the whole catfish comments, and they're replaying the whole scene of how upset she was about that, blah, blah, blah. And then they both go down the list to do the same thing, saying that Giselle's a catfish with her neck, and her neck's all saggy. And then Wendy had all that work done on her face, so she's a before and after. She's a permanent filter. I thought that was fair because they did the same thing to Angel, so I didn't have a problem with that. I had a problem with this next information. When she gonna say about Wendy having asshole lips and a Forrest Whitaker eye that was twitching, I was like, oh no, that's where you lost me, Angel. And I cannot wait for Wendy to get on your ass at the end of the season, because if we're gonna be real, you are mad at Wendy because she was laughing that Giselle said the whole catfish thing. But if you wanna go back and rewind a bit, Wendy is irritated with you because you were mad that she called you out about what you were saying about Keiarna, that you were not being upfront and honest about in her face. So now you are now mad at Wendy for what? Now you have all this issue with Wendy because she called you out after you were being fake as fuck to Keiarna in her face when you were talking bad about her at the store. Like, I don't understand what you are upset about with Wendy so fucking bad. You switched up on her first. That's the reason why she was laughing at you, because she does not see it for you. She thinks like you're fake as fuck, and you fucking are. So I thought the sideways at Wendy and not Giselle. There was zero energy to Giselle when like, what the fuck? Giselle was doing the same thing. She co-signed what Wendy said at the fucking round table they had at Keiarna's house before they went to the fucking derby thing. So now it's like, you have all this smoke for Wendy for what? What is the reason? What is the reason?
I had a reason.
What was the reason?
I had a reason.
What was the reason?
I had a reason.
What was the reason?
I just explained the reason.
What was the reason, bitch?
Because you should have the same smoke for Giselle. You gonna talk about some asshole lips? Where is that coming from? You're not talking about some Giselle has asshole lips. What the fuck is that? So yeah, again, I cannot wait until Wendy sees this shit so she can get on your fucking ass, because that was so unnecessary. If we're gonna be real, what did fucking Wendy say about Angel? Other than she's being fake as fuck, she's being two-faced, you are mad, you're sure switching up on her. What did Wendy say about you? Other than co-signing that your pictures look completely different from what you look like in person. And let's pause on that. No one said that Angel was ugly. Angel is not ugly. She's a very pretty woman. No one said she was ugly. They just said that she looks nothing like her photos. That is not saying that she's ugly. And I don't feel like Giselle was saying that she was ugly. No one said that she was ugly or unattractive or whatever the case is. Meanwhile, Angel's over here talking about that one girl, oh, the streaky haired, gap tooth, bottom of the barrel, hot trash bitch. Are we fucking for real? And on top of that, I think it's even more interesting that Angel wants to talk about, oh, they did this and that to me. We're not bringing up the allegations that were told against her at the last episode of her being a mean girl. What about that? If that wasn't true so bad, why wouldn't you bring up that here and vent about that too? I'm confused. That's what I'm saying. I'm so tired of Angel and her bullshit. Now she wants to sit over here and only tell parts of the story, and then wants to get mad later on when people start checking her ass. So again, I can't wait until the girls see this shit and eat her ass up. Next! So now we get over to Tia's house, and we're in the kitchen with her and her twins. Her twin, the daughter, she's doing her homework, and her son is next to her, and he is not doing his homework. He's on his iPad, and he's playing around having a grand old time. And Tia's asking him, like, she's doing her homework, why aren't you? He says to her, he doesn't want to right now. Hello? Anyway, and then as Tia tries to go to grab said iPad, he yanks it from her twice.
Oh, you want to get fucked up. You want to get...
Oh no. Oh no, clearly they're not getting beat enough in the house. I'm telling you, because if that was me, I'm not challenging my parents like that. Let me be so for real. We got beat like we were supposed to. We got discipline, which was code for beat. Black people, black parents did what they're supposed to do and disciplined their kids. We got beat. So I feel like for me, I was scared to do anything outside the boundary lines with my parents, because I remember the last time of my beatage and in the recovery time, I was like, oh, hell no. I am not going through that again. Let me make sure I follow the rules and things are good to go. But he's over there snatching the iPad. That let it be known there is zero disciplining going on in that house. You guys do nothing. And that's what Tia was saying this last few episodes of RHOP. Feeling like that kind of stuff was cool. It's like, maybe it's cool because it's not being done to you. It's being done to Tia for whatever reason. And I'm just like, there's clearly not a equal understanding of what respecting your parents, honoring your parents means in this household. So I thought that was very interesting and honestly weird that she didn't say anything. I'm like, girl, you were talking about, you don't think, you and Rob are on different pages when it comes to the kids respecting you and what you guys deem as respectful and disrespectful. If that's the case, why aren't you exercising how you feel when it comes to discipline in this moment when your son is being blatantly disrespectful to you in your face on camera? So opportunity missed, but I digress. And then we get into the living room, and now we have Rob and her other two daughters, and we get a rundown of her daughter's birthday party that was thrown while Tia was on the girls trip in Nevis. And we basically get known that a disgruntled person that was left off the invite list was pissed off, and they leaked the address, having a whole herd of uninvited guests coming to the house for the party. And this resulted in her oldest daughter calling the police 5 times to get the situation rectified and under control. And the biggest question is, Rob, what the fuck were you doing to where your daughter had to call the police? Why were you, as the adult, not calling the police? I don't understand Rob and his outlook on parenting. I'm just gonna be real, because from how it sounded like Rob was just a person in the background that was a supervising adult to the whole chaos. It just seemed like he was in the background. He was there so we did not have to get fined type of thing. It's like, where's the intervention? Where's the intervening as the adult? It didn't sound like he did any of that. And then at the end, he was like, I'm the one that told everyone to get out. So it's like, Rob, please save it. It sounds like you didn't do shit. Your daughter had to do everything. I don't want to hear it. Next. So now we're getting over to Giselle. She's on her way to Atlanta because she is trying to contest her father's will. She said that her dad dad originally had a will that left all of his assets in Giselle and her daughter's name. So it's supposed to go to them. But then somehow her father's wife got rid of that will and forged another one that left all of his assets going to her. And Giselle believes that that was a whole bunch of bullshit. Like, this is not what her dad would have signed. He wasn't even like stable enough to sign anything and know what he was signing. So she's going to the courts to contest that and petition against it. So we get a little update on the relationship that Giselle has, or lack thereof, with her dad's wife. Giselle basically describes her as like the evil stepmom type, and they never had a good relationship, and she never had a relationship with her daughters. So they're not in a good place, and it's really contentious right now. In this next scene, we get Keiarna and Greg. I don't care for Keiarna nor Greg or this relationship, so skip! And now we get over to Wendy and Stacey. They're going out for lunch. And in her confessional, Wendy says that she doesn't think that Stacey is a bad person. She's just a lying liar who lies sometimes. And she likes that Stacey isn't so serious about herself, so that's what makes her like being around her. They then briefly bring up Ashley's Pride event, and Wendy says the gays deserve better than Ashley singing. And that is so true. Ashley makes my ears bleed. Anyone else?
I heard he sang a good song. I heard he had a style.
And then we get into the good stuff. Wendy is asking Stacey about her cannabis line. And Stacey gives her a quick rundown. She tells her that she's starting off small with gummies. And then she tells her the name of her line is Shio. And that gets Wendy looking like, huh? And Wendy's questioning her. She's like, out of all of the countries to pick out of Africa, you pick Nigeria? Like, why? And she goes, I have an affinity for Nigerian people. Like, what the fuck, Stacey? What the fuck does that mean? And that has Wendy breaking the fourth wall, looking in the camera, and I lost it. I was like, Wendy is so over this shit. She sees right through it just like everyone else, but she is just like flabbergasted because, again, we already asked Stacey verbatim about the cannabis line, and she looked at Wendy in her face and told her no, that was not the case. And not only does she have a cannabis line, she is choosing a Nigerian name for it, and that has Wendy being like, she's trying to steal my sauce. Again, she saw the success of Happy Eddie, and she is trying to get in on that shit. She wants a little bit of piece of that Nigerian money, and she is trying to act like she's not doing that, but we all see right through your bullshit, Stacey. And once again, Stacey tries to convince us and Wendy that she did not do this because of Wendy. She's not trying to compete with her X, Y, and Z.
Right.
Next, now we get a quick scene with Giselle after the court proceedings. It says right now they're in the deliberation stage, so she just has to wait for the outcome. I guess we'll get a update on that later on. We get a quick scene of Stacey, Wendy, and Ashley at Jazzy's wedding. It looks so beautiful and so bomb. And Ashley thinks it's real suspicious that Stacey came all of a sudden, and she thinks that she only came because Ashley and Wendy decided to come.
That's suspicious. That's weird.
I don't think it's surprising at all. And Stacey in her confessional was talking about I'm so glad we all decided to come, and I'm glad I pushed back my launch of my cannabis line to come to Jazzy's wedding and support her. I'm so glad. It's like, that's so interesting because in the last episode, you were struggling and grappling between going to Jazzy's wedding and starting your, launching your cannabis line so you can start the legacy for Arabella, and it was all this, I'm trying to prioritize my family. What happened to that? I know you didn't think we forgot about that, Stacey, because that was the first thing that you said when it came down to coming or not. You were deliberating. You didn't know. You didn't make a choice. Now, all of a sudden, it was an easy decision for you to push it back a bit. If that was so easy, why not have just said that in the first place? Right. Next. So now we get to Ashley's Pride event, and she comes in as Ash TOP, and she gives the girls their drag king names and these cute tie-dye shirts. And in comes Monique. She's dancing, vibing, dancing right past Giselle. And Giselle says in her confessional that she's actually been thinking about Monique a lot over the years. And I was thinking, why? Why would you be thinking about somebody that you just couldn't stand so bad, and now you're saying you've actually been having her in your thoughts? Okay. And then she says that she really is interested to get to know Monique after her getting divorced, because she felt like when she was married to Chris, she was not being fully authentic. So she's trying to be open-minded to her now. And this is where the drama starts, and it's literally for no reason and out of nowhere. And I'm guessing it's because Keiarna hasn't had any screen time most of this fucking episode. So she's itching for some sort of look at me moment. So she got it right here. Keiarna then like makes this announcement to the girls, and she's like, well, I didn't know Monique, you didn't know Stacey. Monique's like, well, I've been stuck at the house a lot. I don't know when I would have had a chance to meet anyone new. And Keiarna continues saying that Stacey told the girls she's seen Monique around, and Stacey's in the corner confused as fuck, like, what is going on here? Giselle corrects Keiarna and she goes, it wasn't Monique, she was talking about Chris. And now Keiarna wants to act all clueless, like, oh, I thought I heard Samuel's, oh, okay. And now she goes on to tell Monique that Stacey was dating Chris, and now that's her ex-boyfriend. And then we go to be continued. And I'm like, what the fuck was all that for? Like, what for? Pause. Let's go ahead and make this very clear. Monique just confirmed she did not know Stacey. They never met. They knew nothing of each other, right? And by the time Stacey was trying to get with Chris, Monique and Chris were already divorced and had been divorced. So if Stacey and Monique were never friends, Monique and Chris were already divorced, what the fuck does Stacey owe Monique to be dating Chris? She does not owe her a damn thing. They were not friends. They were not married. It's not like Chris cheated on Monique with Stacey. What reason do you have, Keiarna, to bring this shit up other than to start some bullshit because you have nothing else going on? What the fuck is that? That shit is so fucking annoying. I was like, wow, this is the exact reason why everyone wants you to get the fuck off the show, Keiarna, because you bring nothing. You bring zero. You're boring as fuck. Like, I'm being so serious. That shit pissed me off. And I'm like, they were having a grand old time. They're over here laughing, dancing, jiving, having a grand time at the event. And here you are bringing in the bullshit. And then later you're going to fucking cry about it. Like, the girls are getting up on me. I have nothing left to give to the girls. I'm so tired. I'm so exhausted. This is the reason why you are exhausted. This is the reason why the girls get on your ass and you cannot take it. You go over there and start crying, and then later on vent to Angel behind the girl's back because you don't have the balls to say it to anyone's face. So you know what? Again, enough of me ranting. I cannot wait until the end of this season and the girls see all of this shit so they can get on you and Angel's ass. How did you guys think about this episode? It had me at the edge of my seat, pissed. Let me know how you felt about Keiarna and her dropping this quote bomb at the end of the episode in the comments down below. If you did like this video, make sure to hit the like and subscribe button. I want to thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!